It's the same music, Larry.
By the way, Jim, it's absolutely not.
Oh, it all sounds the same then.
My point exactly.
He wants Led Zeppelin.
I
Led
want the
Zeppelin.
hard rock next
Led
time.
Zeppelin.
Good afternoon. It's Thursday. Welcome to Broker Talk. I'm Larry Lawfer. I'm one of your hosts today. At Broker Talk, we're a weekly show that provides you the unvarnished truth about real estate. Each week, we also bring you a guest who has an area of expertise that really will assist and benefit you. So buckle up and listen. Each week, I'm joined by my co-host, the able and irreverent Jim Lowenstern, CEO and founder of Castles Unlimited. Say something irreverent, Jim.
Well, first of all, I'm not irreverent. I don't even
There
know what
you
it
go.
means. So I can't be irreverent. Hi, Larry. Hi, John Feloni.
And
Hi, everybody
Hey, Jim.
out there.
thanks for listening.
In podcast land.
Yeah, I love your little crown of flowers.
I know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
Anyway.
That's true.
Yeah. I finally have hair.
It should be a halo.
Well, no, not a halo. Anyway, each week our guest has an area of expertise, and John Feloni is absolutely no exception whatsoever. He has spent a lifetime understanding finance and technology through a variety of different positions of importance and some perhaps not so important.
He's written some great books.
He's written some great books about finance, and he's going to share with us his new fintech business, Stock Squirrel. Welcome aboard, John.
Thanks for having me.
I think the first question everybody really wants to know, though, knowing all of your many accolades and everything, what's it like to be Mr. New England?
Well, I was 19, so it was fun. And yeah, I had a pretty good bodybuilding career there for a little while. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's awesome. I mean, it's good. What was it? Glory Days? Is Glory Days from Springsteen a good enough rock and roll song for
I
you,
like
Jane?
it. I like.
Yeah, we can't play it though. We don't have the rights.
No, of course we
So,
can't.
John, memory lane. What was that book? I don't know if you lent it to me or I purchased it. Probably you lent it to me. I can't imagine I bought it. But it was a great book. What was the title?
Well, I think I've given you several of mine. The Fall of the House of Hutton, The Covenant Secret.
That was it.
That was it. Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, that was a good book.
Thank you.
Was that one that you wrote, John?
Yes.
And
no, he didn't pay for it. No.
No, of course not.
No, I didn't think so.
Of course not. He's always looking for the freebies. Do you have?
I wasn't looking for anything. Don't say that.
Well,
it was
come
a good
on.
book. I actually read the whole book.
And did he give it back yet?
Where is it? But I probably gave John my book too.
You did. You did. Yeah. Thank you very much.
It was an even trade.
It was.
There we go. Straight up. I don't know. Let me talk about Stock Squirrel for a minute because I don't fully understand fractional ownership of stock. I have a journeyman's understanding of it, but for instance, could I go into, for instance, a Starbucks and buy an overpriced $6 cup of coffee and from that get a fractional share of the stock? Is that something that's in our future?
Yeah. So basically, in any public company, whether it be in Walmart, Chipotle, McDonald's, Home Depot, but take Starbucks, for example, you buy a $5 coffee and at the counter, you also with your Stock Squirrel app, you can determined by you, 10% of your purchase price or 50 cents worth of Starbucks stock or $1 or $5 worth. And to make it simple is, if a stock is $10 and you're buying a dollar's worth of the stock, then you're buying 10% of one share. So our objective is own where you shop. So you start accumulating shares in the very companies where you spend your retail dollars, and you build a portfolio that works. It's actually Peter Lynch, the great investor. It's his method of investing, where he said he would, to do research, he'd take his kids to the mall, and the store with the most people are the stocks that he'd be looking at purchasing.
Buy what you know.
But yeah.
So John, does the Stock Squirrel app user get to predetermine a percentage or a dollar amount?
Yes, it's actually on the app. You can choose dollar amount or percentage, and you can change it in real time as well.
Okay, all right. So you buy a lottery ticket and you think, I'm gonna have $1 million by Friday, I'll buy $1 million worth of Starbucks
Right.
today.
And say if at Starbucks, since you spend $5, you might have it 100% of your purchase price. At Walmart, you might have it at 10%. At going into Apple, you might put it at 1% because of the differences in how much money you're spending.
So is there anything out there right now similar? I
No.
know there's plenty of apps where you can buy stock.
Yeah, and here's the thing that we differentiate ourselves with is every other brokerage firm out there, whether it be from Robinhood to Merrill Lynch to Schwab, are
Acorns.
Acorns. All of them are transaction oriented. Whereas what we're doing is we're selling the experience of ownership. And the difference between, it's the democratization of ownership. It's the difference between, there's one thing different between the 1% and the 99%, and that's ownership. So for fractional shares, for fractional amount of dollars, we want to teach about ownership and have people experience ownership.
And build a portfolio. They're
Build a
building a
portfolio, and
portfolio.
also, even more, more importantly, if not just as important, is that uh, we're going to be giving them the experience of having a voice in that ownership. So if we have 1 million of our users who own one share of Starbucks, well, that collective voice in what the company is doing is powerful. So we are going to give impact to our users, and Gen Z and millennials love having impact.
That's
That's more
important
important. Yeah.
because up until probably within the last year or so, I never bought fractional shares. I always bought, you really couldn't. So even if it was like
Right.
Amazon, you had to buy, you know, one share if you had, enough money to do it. But now you can buy a dollar's worth of Amazon.
That's correct.
So if you own a dollar's worth of Amazon, you get a vote,
Well, actually,
or you get a fractional vote.
you can't get fractional votes at this point. You have to have one share to have a vote,
Okay, all right. So
and that's
It's just
just
fascinating.
yeah.
It to me, it's like um, I use Staples sometimes, and I don't want to pick on them, but they have the worst membership benefit program. It used to be that if you were a member of this and you went back, they said, "Oh, you came in and you spent $100 last week, you get $10 off this one." No, they wait a couple of weeks and then they send you some little card that you have to use, and you can't. It doesn't come up on the
they're
computer.
not doing that as much anymore either.
I just got a card today.
Oh,
So
did you?
yeah, my point is, this is a better way. I would rather buy the stock and say, tell them down the road, hey, that's
Well,
a horrible member
Staples is
benefit.
didn't Staples do a reverse? They're privately held now,
Yeah.
right? They went
Uh,
they went back to private,
yeah. Yes.
so you can't do that with Staples. Bad
You know what?
example.
What's interesting though is the we actually, it will be marketing services to companies, to the 200 plus companies that fall in on our select list of companies that Gen Z and millennials will be interested in. And to those companies, we'll be marketing services such as loyalty and reward programs. And
Right.
as far as loyalty and reward programs, there's nothing more loyal than turning a customer into an owner, to where they really
Yeah.
care about the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. Again, buy what you like, what you enjoy.
Yep.
So what's
Um,
the timeline? When you gonna let the squirrels loose?
All right. So at this point, we have the app out for alpha testing, and we're doing something unique for the launching of an app. We're doing both iOS, which is Apple, and Android at the same time, which are two different engineering teams. And at this point, we're testing all of the functions because, interestingly, when you test an app, each phone under iOS and Android, each model phone, a font may appear different or something is different. So
Right.
we're going through that whole testing phase right now, and we're also tying to our broker dealer and our clearing agent as they develop their APIs to facilitate what we're doing. So we're a few months away of having it actually work at point of sale at the cash register, but we're working hard at it and we're really close.
Now, do you have to have a cash reserve like Robinhood with that whole GameStop fiasco where they had a halt trading, and are you going to have to do anything like that, or is your broker or clearer, or however you describe them, they're going to handle all that for you?
They handle all that. Our broker will be Squirrel Securities. Our clearing agent will be Velocity Clearing, and you'll have cash in the account. One of the mistakes that Robinhood made, and don't forget the founders, they come from Silicon Valley and tech rather than Wall Street, which was where me and my team come from, is they had the ability, when you open an account at Robinhood, you can actually trade that day, which is a really big mistake because
Yeah,
now
no kidding.
that's how they got exposed to all of these purchases and were subject to serious problems. The way any other broker works, whether it's Morgan Stanley or Schwab or E-Trade or whoever, is when you have to make a deposit in the brokerage account first, and it has to clear before you can actually do a transaction. Robinhood, in trying to be overzealous in serving customers, when you open your account, you can trade, and that caught up to them during that Reddit GameStop fiasco when there was one Friday there where they opened up 900,000 accounts, and you have all those accounts trading. It put them exposed to billions of dollars of trades where it, what happens is, what if they renege on the trade? What if they don't pay for the trade? And so the clearing agent
What
has
if
to
they never
stop
had
them.
the money to begin with?
Perfect. And the clearing agent, is going to be exposed for all that, and that's why they called in for all of these funds.
Because they thought, well, we can't lose; these stocks only go up.
Exactly.
Stocks go
Well, we
up.
know that's true.
Is that your phone, John?
Yep, I'll silence it right now.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Sorry
Awesome.
about that.
A hit squad is coming your way right now.
I know, Jim. I know, Jim.
No, it's Larry. You're supposed to teach John what to do.
No, see, my thing is answer your phone, but actually, I should have said turn it off.
Yeah. My
I
apologies.
just think the movement in financial technology is fascinating. And a couple of weeks ago, we had a Bitcoin person on, and for me, and in real estate, we know that the ownership of property has always been the measure of wealth, but it's changing because wealth is now whatever we're changing, whether it's legal tender or bits and bytes on the internet. Uh, what actually is wealth? Uh,
Crypto.
this democratization of the stock process should be. Are you selling stock in your business?
Well, interestingly, you open the door to something which is what we intend on doing. Again, since we're all about ownership and we're all about the democratization of it and fractional ownership, so that the 99% who don't have great wealth can experience ownership and learn about it and exercise it, and we'll facilitate their exercising it. Ultimately, based upon the technology you're talking about, there's going to be a tokenization of real estate so that we can offer real estate ownership, fractional real estate ownership, to our users. And we'll do that with art, cryptocurrencies, private companies, all fractional. To give you an example of the tokenization of real estate, say you have 100,000 square foot property that's worth $30 million. And so you can offer one share per square foot, or $300 for a share for 100,000 shares. And then you can even reduce that to square inches, where it would be $2.08 per square inch. So ultimately, with the tokenization of real estate assets, we can offer a significant property investment through fractional
Has
ownership.
anybody done that yet?
No, but
I
it will
think
be done.
it's been done a bunch of times. Haven't people
Well,
sold the Brooklyn Bridge? You know, hey, want a piece of the Golden
no,
Gate Bridge?
but you, yeah. So REITs are packaged
Real estate
in,
investment trust.
yeah. So
Yes.
their inventory of income producing properties, and then you can buy shares. Isn't that somewhat similar, John?
Oh, sure. And you could buy fractional shares of those REITs on Stock Squirrel as well.
Right.
But we're talking about direct ownership, where you can actually have a voice in voting on that ownership for particular properties. So Castles Unlimited could put together a portfolio of a two-family house or an apartment building,
I'm going
and
to take my
tokenize.
headphones off so I don't have to listen to this. It sounds like a major headache. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? No, I'm serious, because I've had partners before. I can't remember one that I would say, "Oh my God, that was the best partner I've ever," except for Larry. But Larry's like he's a co-host. He's not a partner. As soon as we start being partners, probably not going to work out. Co-host does. So, I mean, can you imagine 100,000 partners on a single, you know,
It's like
cubic inches or
yeah,
cubic
yeah,
centimeters?
yeah.
I paid a quarter for that cubic centimeter. I want to be heard.
Right.
It's important.
Right. Yeah. It's like that
Well,
friend you go out with who at the when the bill shows up, they say, "Well, I had the watercress salad and you had
oh
a
my God,
hamburger."
yes.
My
Yeah.
my friends are all in the men's room when
And then when
the
that
bill,
comes.
when the check comes.
Hey,
Well,
let's
that's what. But you know, but that's interesting, an example, Larry, because that's how and why the success of Venmo
yeah.
came out, because you can give your $5, he can give his $7, and everyone can. So
What a mess.
technology can handle
Yeah.
those
Hey, let
those kind
So
of things.
so can you do this, John, where we can package a couple of properties and put it out on Stock Squirrel and quickly raise the money, but not raise the headache?
Well, that's the objective,
John,
Jim.
before we get to that answer, let's take a break, pay some of our bills. We'll be right back.
When you are searching for a new home, you want to be working with a realtor with years of experience, a professional with intimate knowledge of the communities that you are considering moving to, and someone who really wants to represent you as a buyer in what is probably the largest investment you will ever make in your lifetime. The realtors at Castles Unlimited want to be your choice when you're ready to make your next move. Please visit us at castlesunlimited.com or call us anytime at 800-967.
And we're back. We solved nothing during the break. We wanted to wait for you. So fractional ownership, is it like the world's worst HOA that you could ever possibly have, where people who you would never elect or appoint anyone now become leaders of your homeowners association, and they want you to do what they want you to do? Is that what it'll be like?
Well, so I mean, everyone's going to be designing different products, and you can have a general partnership with limited partners who with a collective voice, if you will.
How about
or,
silent partners? Ownership with no
sure.
voice.
Of course, of course you can. You can design it any way you wish, obviously, and that will be the competition between the different investment products.
It'd be the anti-Karen app in there. You don't want too many Karens. And Karens can be male or female. Don't be sending me letters. Actually, would you please send me a letter? I'd like to hear from you.
Lonely.
He's lonely.
Anyway.
So this alpha test, this beta, whatever. Am I on that list? And are we able to trade at this point, or it's just to see the fonts?
Yeah, you'll be getting notification on how to get on, depending upon your phone, on which testing app.
You're an iOS, aren't you, Jim? You're Apple?
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you'll get the iOS instructions on how to access it. And what we're doing is, prior to making the brokerage part of the app working, we're testing all of the other functions of choosing your companies, choosing the percentages of the dollar amounts. So you will be able to play with that. And as we're testing and getting the feedback on making sure it's correct on all phones, we will be adding the different functions and making sure they work. So yeah, you will be notified for that.
So sorry, Larry, I have to get this question in. So when it goes live, is it going to go live in steps where maybe just you will use it for a week and buy some stock and see how it goes, and then you'll open it up to a few more people? I mean, you don't want to make a Robin Hood mistake where you have
Exactly.
900,000 accounts all crashing the system, and
And that is, and it's funny you mentioned that, because we will be testing it and making sure it works, and we'll segregate it to different demographic groups. But we have 16,000 signups in order to test the app. And one of the things that I made sure our technology team has done is really build up the back end, because a lot of apps, when they launch them, they set them up to handle 5,000, and on 5,001 the system crashes. And I am very adamant with our tech team to make sure, if we're very successful up front and we get 100,000, 200,000 signups, that the thing isn't going to crash, because this is not a game. This is dealing with people's money, and you don't want to do that. And we're very cognizant of that.
It goes beyond that. It's like when Facebook started, they they were successful because they didn't crash, right?
And don't forget, who did they replace? Netscape, who had a whole host of problems, and they learned from them and produced an app that worked.
So who are you using as a backbone for this whole thing? I mean, who is it? AWS?
I can't give you the technological terms,
Okay.
but
Well, it's not a little Dell computer that's sitting on your desk.
No, we're doing very significant backup on this. And again, we're really cognizant of security and the ability for this thing to handle a large amount of volume.
So I'm thinking of the two other people, not to wrap you up inside them, but both Mike Lindell and the former guy are allegedly creating their own platforms. Now, that's a social media platform versus a fintech, financial technology. I'll bet that you have a far greater level of security around that than you would around a social media.
Yeah, you do. And as a matter of fact, it's legal to that extent, where whenever you're moving money around, you have to, there's a lot of compliance that we have to pay attention to, and we are.
Well, the Bitcoin guy we had on, Sam Mazarsky, he said that the reason Bitcoin is the leader in that cryptocurrency is because of their security, because of their level of encryption, and nobody's ever broken into it, or from what I understand.
I took a course on blockchain at MIT, and it was interesting because the question was, you have all of these computers on all of these servers, and they questioned on breaking the blockchain, say for Bitcoin, what kind of computing power would it take? And the professor actually answered, you can take every server in the world to try to break that code, and it wouldn't do it. However, if you get into quantum computing later on the road, something like that may be able to break the blockchain, but we're far from it.
Where is our money?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, let me do the other ad. Founded in 2018 by the Academy of Real Estate Arts and Sciences, the RE Awards is now offering top real estate professionals a free listing and SEO enhancing links to their own websites for free. If you are a top real estate professional and want to be included in the RE Awards, go to thereawards.com and contact them today. Thereawards.com, where you will find the best RE professionals.
RE is real estate.
Really?
But this isn't just real estate. This is the Real Estate Awards. So,
Are
or
you?
or we should be saying the real estate awards, but then people
Actually,
would spell it wrong.
so I want to ask you. So that book I read, the Covenant Secret.
Yes.
Can you boil it down, John? Just remind me because it really there was a message there.
Well, interestingly enough, and the book is going to be released by a publishing company in the next few months because it's very timely. It is all about stakeholder capitalism, where it breaks down every stakeholder within an organization, and it's presented in a parable form, in a story form. But anyone from customers to employees to vendors to partners to the communities in which you serve. It's actually the tome of stakeholder capitalism, and I wrote this book a long time ago, long before stakeholder capitalism has become the rage today.
It's fascinating, and we could talk about this for another several hours. But unfortunately, we've come to the end. Do you have any final words? Hopefully, both Jim and I can be on your beta test. I know alpha test is usually the tech people, and
Yeah,
and
right.
that takes us out of it.
Well, what you can do as well is go on to stocksquirrel.com
I did.
and put in
Yeah,
your email address
I did.
there, and
I did
we'll be good
earlier
to go.
today,
Oh, good.
and I haven't
Good.
gotten any spam yet. So what's up with that?
Yeah, well, this is good.
Uh, Broker Talk, that's part of the unvarnished truth about our industry today. And thank you so much, John, for joining us. Thank you, Jim, for being irreverent. Not
Thank
so
you for
much
having
today.
me. Thank you.
Thanks for
Should-
joining us, John.
Thank you,
Good seeing
Jim.
you.
I appreciate it.
We'll see you next week for another great show here at Broker Talk.
Thursday at 3.
Thursday at 3.
Broker-talk.com.
Or 3:03. I think we were started today.
My
Anyway.
fault.